All right, welcome back, guys. I'm Adam, and I'm with G2 Outdoor Adventures. So here today, we're going to talk about the myth of the Firebox. So what is that myth? So a lot of times you'll hear the Firebox called the twig box or twig burner. And so that's really true. It is a twig burner, and it's probably one of the best twig burners on the market, really. But I think that a lot of times people forget about how versatile the Firebox lineup really is. And so here today we got the 5-inch, this is the G2, the second generation, and in titanium, and this is the Nano, also in titanium. And of course the Firebox company, they're doing their mid-size right now. It's a 4-inch version, and that's their freestyle or their modular Firebox system. So that one's gonna be really cool. But so for today, I got the 2 titanium ones here. And so just a shout out to Firebox. I really appreciate you guys sending me this gear so I could do these different reviews and show the lineup products here. So in these Firebox, I think that it's kind of a misconception that all you could burn is just twigs in these guys and that's it. So I got a whole pile of different materials here that you could burn and different resources to use. But one of the things I want to cover is the Trangia alcohol stove here. So a lot of you guys are familiar with the alcohol stove, but you can set this up in either one of these stoves in a few different configurations here. So come on in and we're going to show you the first setup here on the G2 second generation Firebox. So on your Firebox, all the way around it, there's different slots, right? So you could pick whatever slots you want, basically. I'm going to use these inner slots, and that lines up really well. Just put your fire sticks in there, and then your alcohol stove actually sits quite snug right in the middle of that. So that's a great option for you. But now keep in mind, the closer or lower your pot is to the top of your flame is going to change the heat. So the higher up you have your alcohol stove, it's not going to be as hot. When you drop it down and your pot's right on the top of those flames, you're going to get the most amount of heat. So let's jump over to the Nano and we'll take a look at this alcohol stove in the Nano. So let's take a look at our titanium Nano here. So on the sides, you'll notice these little holes here, and those are for our Nano sticks. So what you're going to want to do here is take your Nano stick, go in the hole, and come back out the other hole here. And so that's going to give you these little ledges here. And so now your alcohol stove fits nicely right on top of those sticks. All right, so that's one option, is your Trangia alcohol stove. And for you guys that love your alcohol stoves, this is a really, really cool option, I think. So another option with your alcohol stove is if you don't really like putting it on your sticks here where you kind of balance it or squish it in the middle of it, you could actually use a burn plate here. So when you look inside your Firebox, the one corner is slightly different, and that's where the large cutout of this plate goes. So we could put our fire sticks in here again, and you still got to use the fire sticks. It's just that you don't have to be as exact with your placement. But now our burner plate here can slide right in the top of our stove, and now you can just put your Trangia right in the middle of it. And again, you could adjust the height as much as you want with this system. So the next thing I want to take a look at, and we're staying away from the twig kind of factor for the moment, but again, we're going to look at the Trangia, but it's the propane burner for the Trangia. You can also get the Trangia sticks that come with it, and it just kind of makes it more convenient and it fits really well. But now with this burner stove here, you have these slots on the side of your Firebox, and it's a little tricky. You got to kind of get the right angle of it. But you could slide your regulator here through that hole, and now your Trangia will fit inside of your Firebox. So again, take a closer look here, and we'll put these fire sticks through, and you can kind of see how it holds it in place. So again, we're going to come through these little slots here, and you could vary the height of this however you want. And then your Trangia has little lips on the end of here, and those actually click right in place. Let me do it again so you guys can hear it. Nice snug fit right there. So now what we can do is put your canister on here, and you could change the size. You could use a real big canister, you could use a little one. It's up to you guys. But now your regulator is here, nice and easy to reach. And so we're gonna light this just for a moment. It's gonna be hard to see it with the sunshine out here though. You can hear that gas coming through. And this is a great system here for being able to regulate your heat. So another thing here, as far as our propane can goes, is you can also use like the big green 1 pound cans from Walmart, but you have to use the adapter to connect your valve to the large 1 can, or 1 pound can. So this is a really cool option, especially if you're kind of hitting the trail like a fast hit it and get it, or you just don't want to fool around with like the fire or getting materials together to burn. This is just a super fast, super quick and efficient way to do this. So I'm going to take these sticks out here. Now your setup on your Nano is basically the same way. The only difference here on your Trangia, you have this heat shield on here. So your heat shield does not fit inside of your Nano. So you have to unscrew this top piece here. You could take your heat shield off and then it fits inside your Nano just fine. All right, so you could see right off the bat, we got 2 really good options here that are super fast. So you got quick deployment on there, and also you don't have to worry about having all your sticks in here and letting all that stuff burn down so you don't have those hot coals lingering. Keep in mind though, anytime that you're using this kind of stuff, this Firebox will get hot and you're still gonna have to let that cool down so you could touch it. But at least you don't have the hot embers on the bottom of it that have to burn out still. So let's continue with this. And we'll look at some other fuel options besides the twigs. So one really cool option is just these wood pellets. Now these wood pellets are kind of like for your smoker, your grill, so these are apple pellets. But this will give you a nice, long, slow burn, and your heat doesn't get as hot as a twig does, but it gives you a long, continuous burn. So now, one of the things that I've been doing is before I go on my trip, I'm putting my fuel sources in Ziplocs. So whether it's, maybe it's twigs or materials, it's wood pellets, it's charcoal, I put it in a Ziploc and it just makes it real easy to transport. But now I really don't need to fill this entire thing up with wood pellets. So we got a couple different options here. But again, I'm gonna take this burner plate or grill plate. We're gonna put sticks in here and you can adjust this to however high you want it based on how much food you're wanting to cook here. Again, we'll line that corner up there, match the one that's a different shape, and we'll drop that in. So right there, that's a little bit too high, I think. No big deal, we'll drop it down another slot. Put our plate back in. So what this is going to allow for is, one, you could adjust how high you want your grill plate in there for how much material you want to burn, and also you get a lot of airflow getting sucked up, which is going to give you a nice, good, even burn and push that heat up. So I got my wood pellets here, where we're just going to dump these guys in. And you guys can take a look inside of this thing, but that gives you a lot of material to burn there. So unlike your sticks there where you got to constantly be feeding your sticks, these are going to burn for a long time once you get them lit. They are a little bit more difficult to start. So that's why I like to carry, again, another Ziploc, but this has some fire starting material in here. So I'll break this up into a couple pieces. I'll kind of move my pellets around, put them in there and start it in different areas. And that way I'll get a nice even burn over the whole thing, but this will burn for a long time though. All right, I got Nibbles here. He's trying to help me out here. Hopefully he don't knock everything down. So I got my fire starter material here, and I'm going to use my hatchet and just cut this into a couple smaller pieces. All right, he got distracted. He's leaving now. I'll just cut that into a few pieces there, and that way I could stagger them inside of that firebox. So you guys could see the height of these flames here. So after that fire starter got those pellets going, this thing puts out a huge amount of heat. And these pellets burn really slow. So even though I only got like 2 inches in there, that's a long, long burn time. And so I'm doing this in the larger firebox, but still, you could do all these different steps here in the Nano as well. All right, so we got our pellets taken care of. They're on the side here burning down. And so next I got this log here. And so for me, I don't know how many inches that is, 4.5 maybe, getting close to 5. But I would definitely call this a log versus a twig. And you could even go bigger than this, really. It's not even touching the sides on all 4 sides here. So we're gonna make a Swedish fire torch. So basically we're gonna split this twice, and then we're gonna take those logs and put them in the corner and start a fire in the middle of it. So with this system here, you could put the rounds to the outside if you want, or you could spin it around the other way, and you could put the corners to corners, and then you get kind of like a void in the middle of it. And so you guys can see the inside of that. That's how that's going to look. So with this void in the middle, we're going to start another fire inside of that. So you could do this either way. You could use your fire starting material, or you could go ahead and make like a bird's nest and start your fire however you like it. So we got our fire starter in the bottom of our Swedish fire torch here, but I am going to put in some smaller pencil-sized twigs down here. And kind of just like with any other fire lay, you want that small material to be at the bottom and start burning up. And since this is a bigger log in here, I'll put a few twigs down in there just to get that going a little bit faster. So we went ahead and boiled some water here on this Swedish fire torch. And that's one thing that's really great about the torch style is you get a lot of flames coming up, really good for boiling water. So I did have to add a few twigs in there just because this poplar wood that I had was a little bit wet. It's been raining here for about a week now. So we boiled that water up, and we went ahead and made some ramen noodle soup here. This soup looks really good though. Got a lot of spices and seasonings in there. Got some shrimp. So we're going to take a few minutes, eat some lunch here, and I'll show you yet another way you could use your firebox. All right, so we got one more option here on our firebox. And this is really not, this is only limited to your creativity, but I really like using charcoal briquettes. So again, you could use the whole firebox, or you could put your grill plate in. And for me, I'm gonna put my grill plate in there. And that way I could use less charcoal briquettes there. But now these charcoal briquettes, I like using the all natural wood ones. They tend to burn a little bit hotter, a little faster. But the only real thing you gotta make sure of though, is don't buy the fire briquettes that have like the pre-soaked lighter fluid in there, because then you gotta wait for all that stuff to burn off before you can cook on it. But so what I'm gonna do here is just wrap the outside edges as best as I can of the firebox and try to leave a hole in the middle of it. And so again, that's kind of going to be like a Swedish fire torch, except you're using your charcoal briquettes. So we'll just keep wrapping these around. And this kind of setup here, I like using this best if I'm cooking on like some kind of meat. If I'm going to cook hamburgers on an open flame, if you're going to cook a steak or some chicken, something like that, then I'll use these fire briquettes. If I'm just boiling water and having a bush pot meal, briquettes probably wouldn't be my first choice. So I'd say that's plenty there. And again, so you could either start a fire in the center of that, whatever kind of stick material or bird's nest, whatever you want. For me though, I'm gonna go ahead and use a fire starter here. So we'll give it a couple minutes here and get this fire starter burning, but keep in mind you can mix and match this as much as you want. So if you want to start a twig fire, as that's burning down, you could toss these fire briquettes on top of those twigs and mix that fire up a little bit. Those twigs are going to burn faster and the briquettes are going to give you a longer, slower burn. So I think Nibbles got tired of sitting by himself, so he jumped up here in my lap. So hopefully with this video, we busted the myth of the Firebox that it is just a twig burner. It really is truly a multi-fuel stove. And hopefully in this video, you got several different options of what you consider the next time you guys go out and do your bushcrafting. And keep in mind in our drop-down window below, we got our Amazon account, and we'll also leave a couple links for the Firebox. And we'll catch you guys next time.